You are now listening to the Cut and Caliber Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to the Cut and Caliber Podcast. We're your hosts, Kyle Redding.
And Stephen Cornfield.
And today we're going to talk about inspirational surges versus self-discipline. Now, these two things are very different, but very important. Now, are you somebody that needs to set up a schedule for you to get something done and commit to it? Or are you somebody that relies on inspirational feelings to attack something?
And we talk about the importance for both of them. Not really versus each other, but how they work together. And how we try to get things done every week with the podcast and me with the vlog. And you can find out how we do that. So, without further ado, let's get into the podcast.
Episode 8.
What?
Is it 8?
No!
It's
This is
7.
like 6, dude.
No.
I'm pretty sure this is 6.
Let's check.
Maybe we should redo this beginning again. Actually, no, let's just keep it going. The people want real.
Yeah.
This is real life. Yeah.
Yeah, this is, well, it's the 7th episode, but it's...
Okay. But it's still not 8. You were still
No.
off. So, technically, this is the 6th episode.
Well, I have the number 7 in front of me. Anyways, so...
Episode 6.
6-ish. Ish.
Yeah, but I mean, the first one doesn't count. It was like a pre-podcast episode.
That was a
like,
demo.
Yeah, it was like an advertisement, whatever.
Yeah. So today we're going to kind of talk about a topic that has even come up really recently for both of us. And it's, are you relying on self-discipline or inspirational surges to get things done? And is it the best way to go about things?
Yeah.
So I'm going to lay out a couple definitions for you real quick. So self-discipline is the ability to control one's feelings and overcome one's weaknesses, the ability to pursue what one thinks is right despite temptations to abandon it. So then inspiration is the process of mentally stimulated to do or feel something, especially to do something creative. So you'll read a lot of articles online about people debating back and forth which one is better. Is one actually not good for you? Should you stick to one and only one? And so we're going to kind of chat about that today and what both of us use pretty regularly.
You know, I used to be, I would say like probably like 9 years ago, 2010, or around 2010. I used to be only about inspiration. Like I would have to go online in the morning and search through hundreds of websites to find something that
would inspire you.
That would inspire me.
Right.
With whatever I was doing, or if I just needed to work on something creative. And I had to find inspiration. And I wasn't disciplined at all to keep that going. It would be one time here, one time there. And I think that's a problem that I had to,
what do you do when
I
you're
had
not
to overcome
inspired?
that. Exactly. Right. I had to overcome that and just be like, no, it's not about, you know, these surges. I like that word you said. It's not about these surges that, you know, you get here and there, because you can't rely on inspiration. You can't rely on, you know, videos to watch to get that knowledge to keep you going. You have to discipline yourself to just do it.
Well, yeah, because it's, as somebody that's recently stepped into freelancing, you should write that into every contract that says, I'll get this done pending my being inspired.
See,
after I'm inspired.
That is exactly why you can't wait.
Right.
Because you have clients or you have people that want to get, you know,
Stuff
need the
done.
stuff done now, and you can't just be like,
don't rush me.
Exactly.
I'm not inspired yet.
And I think for some things you can do that for sure, but like a lot of things, like you can't rely on that. And I think that's not a way to live life. Now, I think getting an inspiration and then just acting on those, you know, feelings and that creativity immediately is great, right? So, I mean, for example, yesterday woke up to a text idea from my brother. He gave me a video idea, and I got so jacked about it. I was so inspired about it, and I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos, and I was just like, you know what? Everything kind of came to me. All the ideas came to me, and I had to act on it. I had to finish it that day.
So there's certainly a place for inspirational surges.
Yes.
So I kind of laid out a couple of areas that you and I have run into these issues where we struggle with both. So working out is one of them. Fitness. Yep. Project deadlines.
Yeah.
When we have articles to write, even this podcast to record.
Yeah.
Or a vlog to film. So these are your kind of standard things you run into where if this isn't a self-discipline topic where it's a habit that you've made a priority in your life that you're going to do every day or every week, whatever the time frame is, it might not get done. Whereas you could kind of rely on inspiration where it's New Year's Eve and you know, hey, tomorrow I'm going to get my body in shape and you get jacked about it.
Gonna get jacked.
And then January 5th rolls around and you're like, wow, I haven't been to the gym.
I am so bad at
Right.
It's the fitness thing. I only do it when I have inspiration.
Right.
I don't discipline myself to do it every week. I don't know what it is.
And it's so weird because that's like it's like written in the Bible figuratively that
Steven should go to the gym.
If you go to the gym and work out, you will feel better than not going.
I know, and when I go to the gym, I do feel a difference with my energy, with everything. But at the same time,
it just doesn't work for you.
I don't know.
It's like the same idea. It's like if you go to work tomorrow, you will get money. That doesn't make me want to go all the time.
No, I mean, I also think it's like being told what to do, like as far as like going to work and all that stuff, does not sit well with me. So being disciplined in that way, no good. But like the gym, I know it's good for me. It doesn't take long to do, right? You know, just a little bit on the treadmill, a little bit of weights, whatever.
Sure. But no direction will kind of not. I think that's most people's problem is they don't have a plan of attack.
Yeah.
And they go in there inspired, have no idea what they're doing. And like, I'm going to get on the treadmill.
Now we're kind of getting into a little bit of different territory with motivation.
Sure.
How would you... So, I mean, we have inspiration, self-discipline. Motivation is a little bit different, in my opinion, where it's almost like inspiration, I guess. You just have these surges where you're like, oh, man, I'm just motivated. I mean, even last week, I was running like every day, right? I was motivated to do it. Nothing really stuck out to me. I didn't watch a movie where this guy was just jacked and he was running all the time, and I was like, nothing stuck out to me. I just was like, I woke up one day and I was like, I'm gonna go for a run,
right?
And the next day
subconsciously you're like, this is gonna better me, which may bring better work out of me, et cetera.
And honestly, like it helps my mind. I get to just like zone out to music.
The benefits from it are
great.
Yeah, are vastly documented.
Right.
So it's
but I still have such a trouble disciplining myself to go to the gym. Now we're kind of getting a little bit out of topic,
out of the main, but it's an important part.
It's this podcast has turned into Steven should go to the gym and work out.
Everybody should. I should go to the gym.
Yeah, we all should.
So let's talk about a topic that's really fresh then, because you've just wrapped up your 1 year of vlogging.
Yes.
And it will continue, but this is the 1 year anniversary.
Yeah.
That's
which
awesome.
Honestly, it thank you, but it isn't that big of a deal though, because like
in a way it's not, but in a way it is.
Right. For me, and I think the people around me, it's kind of a big deal because a lot of people didn't think I was gonna do it. And so this was kind of me being like, suck it.
Exactly. That's always the best feeling when you can tell
really
somebody,
is. Yeah,
hey, look at me, I did it.
Well, I mean, like, people told me to my face, was like, I didn't think you were gonna do it.
I told you that probably.
Right. And I think that was in itself a motivator for disciplining myself.
Well, so you had the motivation to prove people wrong, and then you had to decide how you were going to get it done. Are you going to follow a schedule and show some form of self-discipline, or are you going to wait for these ideas to come to you and be inspired to do them?
Well, I think, it started, of course, being inspired, right, by people on YouTube and whatnot, and then because I wanted to keep going because I've never really I mean, there's been times where I've started something and then I just kind of stop.
Yeah, fizzled out.
Right.
Everybody does it.
Everybody does it. And,
Sure.
I think the longest thing I did was Cut and Caliber Music Mondays.
Right.
Well, one of the longest things recently, I guess. That was like 30 something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every Monday came out with a new playlist. It was really good, but I just stopped it because it was like taking a lot of time.
Well, it takes time, and then you lose the passion for doing it because you're not getting any feedback.
Exactly.
And you're like, okay, nobody's even noticing this.
Right.
Why am I sinking so much time into this?
Exactly. I think that was one of the problems. But then, like, after I stopped doing it, people started messaging me like, yo, where's
Music Monday?
Where's Music Monday? And I was
Right.
like, oh. And I already missed a week. And so, like,
and then
the next
you
week I
lost
was like,
the streak.
whatever.
It's kind of like the
whatever.
Jerry Seinfeld thing that he does is with his calendar. It's kind of a famous technique for him to write anything. So he puts an X in the day that he writes, and for every day he writes, he X's out the day. So his goal is to keep those X's in the longest streak he can without taking a break.
Yeah.
So he looks at that and he's like, oh, I did 17 days straight of writing, and then I broke it. Can I do 18 straight days?
Oh.
He
pushes himself.
Right. And
yeah.
I mean, he has this motivation. He sees that, and he knows if he just writes every day, if it's good or bad, whatever, it's still writing.
That's good. Actually, I like that visual.
Right. And so he has the
aspect of it.
Big old school calendar on the wall that in this.
Yeah, because like
I don't know if he does it anymore, but
but if you go into your office or wherever you do your writing in your bedroom or whatever,
right,
to have that visual aspect where you're like, I gotta beat my
streak.
I don't want to break it,
Right.
That's kind of a motivator in itself. But I think as far as the vlog goes, honestly, it was like really tough sometimes because of course there was like inspiration, but I was also like, I mean, for the people that don't know, I was like, I do a vlog every week, every Wednesday, and sometimes, most of the time, it's about like what happened the weekend before, right? And so I was always like relying on things, events, or ideas,
forcing yourself to go to stuff,
right? Forcing myself to film it and breaking that barrier. But I think having that relying factor, because you put it out. Right? You put yourself on the line. You put it out on Facebook. You put it out on Instagram or whatever. And then people see that. And it's kind of almost like a accountability.
Sure. Well,
right?
As soon as you said every Wednesday, the Cornfield vlog will be live, you've put it out there to everybody that says, expect this.
Yeah. And so then if there's a Wednesday that I don't come out with a vlog, then people will be like, yeah, I'm over it.
Yeah, it's not even that.
I mean? You lose people.
It's that mixed with the fact that to be blunt, that makes you a liar.
Yeah, and
nobody wants
to follow a liar.
A liar.
Yeah.
But essentially, you've made a promise to people that every Wednesday you're putting out content, and if you don't, then in some way I would lose not respect for you, but in the sense that like I wouldn't trust you as much. Be like, this guy's already promised me one time that he's going to put out stuff. I don't know if it's
trust or whatever, but it just like, I just don't want people to think that about me. You know what I mean? And so in that way, it started with inspiration, and then it turned into discipline because I had to do it. Right. I wanted to do it. And some of those videos weren't my best work, but I still did it.
Right.
Right.
But aren't you glad you did?
Yeah.
Are you glad there was no gaps?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm glad, and I'm still going. I got 53 coming up and 54, and I want to keep going and then do more every week. But like, at first it was really tough, just because it was a new routine. You have to add that into your weekend. Things got to get pushed aside. Stuff like that. So discipline, it really turned into, and I couldn't wait for that inspiration to strike.
Sure. And so that's kind of an example of something that you relied on your self-discipline to get done. Mm-hmm. Something that I'm very surprised about myself, because I don't like to rely on inspiration, because I've never I never grew up feeling inspired to do something and then do it. I just analytically
golf.
Well, I don't know.
Kyle's a big golfer, for the people listening.
Right. I guess when I see like golf on TV, I'm inspired to go practice.
Well, I'm in his kitchen right now, and I'm looking at like your living room, and you
I
have
got my putting green.
You have your
and I
putting
got
green,
golf hats, and
exactly.
clubs
Yeah,
over there.
So when it comes to golfing, would you say that when you're practicing, especially for the winter, you discipline yourself, or you just wait for that motivation, you wait for the inspiration to hit when you're watching other people golf, or is it something you really want to work on? Like,
right. I would say how considerably bad I'm playing at the early part of the season. I've relied way too much on inspiration than self-discipline.
Interesting.
Because something that I do just in terms of business and marketing and stuff like that, I am the biggest sucker for motivational videos or speeches or whatever. And I've never expected that from myself, but when waking up early and I have this time to myself, a lot of times I will put on a YouTube video of, I don't know, Gary Vee or something where it's talking about like getting you fired up. And I hate that I love it. I wish I didn't.
Why?
Because I feel like it's so cheesy. It's like a self-help book, right? Like, you know that this is written to like entice most people to buy it, and it's actually it's not actually gonna fix anybody for the most part.
But
right?
if it works for you, it works.
Right. And so it does in a way, because I'll get really inspired to do some work, and a lot of times it will result in that. So I can't really bash on it for myself so much, because I'm like, okay, it's produced some results.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've woken up to several things from me where I'm like, oh, I got a fire, and I
long text.
This. Yeah, like,
watch this video, listen to this podcast. Podcast today.
I did that today.
Podcast, yeah.
And so I think there's value in both of them, and so I think what we can kind of agree on is that there's a way to use both.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. You have to use both.
Sure. And it's not to say one is necessarily better than the other, but you have to learn to utilize both of them. You have to learn that self-discipline is necessary in your life if you want to move forward in any area.
Yeah.
If you want to get better at anything, you can't rely on these spurts of inspiration to get things accomplished.
Well, and I think for some people, they struggle with what is that thing, right?
Sure.
What is that thing that I want to be disciplined at? What is that thing that gets me jacked to work on after watching a motivational video or whatever? And I think to kind of help you find that, I found myself like asking those questions a long time ago and being like, what is my passion?
Right.
I found that I was just loving zoning out, designing, or making a video or making a song. Those three things. So, and I would just forgo going to the bathroom, forgo eating. Like, literally, I wouldn't eat until like 10 o'clock.
You would just invest in Depends or something.
I mean, of course, I would take bathroom breaks, but I'm just saying, like, I would just sit there and focus on it until it was great, until I was ready to put it out there or be done with it. And so I think you find that thing for you.
And how can they do that? They can go back and listen to our old podcast about goals. And should you set them, and what should they be? And then also your Medium article that just walked everybody through how to find those things.
I wasn't actually going to plug that, but I was just saying, like, because I think a lot of people, they struggle with like, man, like they, you might be listening to us and being like, I don't have that thing that they're talking about. I don't have a business. I don't have the thing that gets me fired up in the morning, right? That's going to help you find that thing, is really just see what you're zoning out on. If you're zoning out on reading or writing or dancing or whatever
it is,
that's the thing. And then it's the inspiration. I think it got, like you said, it goes hand in hand. It starts with inspiration, but it has to turn into self-discipline. And you have to keep pushing yourself.
I think that's also a really good indicator of when you found that thing is when you forget to eat.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but if you are so modern people in North America are so accustomed to eating when you have just the littlest of hunger pangs. If you just, even at certain times, you'll just be like, I normally eat now.
Right. I'm guilty of that.
Yeah. So if there's something that you are so enthralled in that when you get done with it and you're like, wow, I forgot to eat all day.
Yeah.
That's something that you should analyze and be like, is this something that I could to get on board with?
Yeah. And I honestly, I don't think you can't be like, oh, what's the thing that's going to make me money? You can't.
Yeah.
And I think
we've tried that.
Right. And I think every time we've tried it
Yeah.
to be focused on the money, it's failed. Every time. And
yes, we don't feel good about it.
yeah, or like, or we end up with a crappy product, or just we end up skipping, something huge. You can't focus on what's making you money. You just focus on what you love to do and what you zone out on and what you stop eating for. I'm serious. Like the last 4 days, I've eaten maybe a can of tuna in the morning or whatever. But I haven't eaten dinner or lunch until like 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
Because I was so focused on making videos, right? I just love it. I love telling the story. And it's like I'm finding that inspiration again, which is really awesome because it's just like, okay, I've done a year. Let's keep going. So it's like I think that is a huge indicator. What is that thing for you? Is that golf?
Well, if I thought I do enjoy golf so much that I've skipped eating very
I bet.
Yeah.
Well, because I mean, like, even if you're hungry, you're on the course, you're like, I can't eat.
Well, and I mean, you could bring stuff with you, but like I'm so into it that I forget that about food.
Yeah.
And I could go all day playing golf, and I'm having so much fun, and I'm so interested in it that it's like, oh, hey guys, we haven't eaten for 7 hours.
Right.
Do you want to grab some food after? Or
oh
whatever
yeah.
it is.
Wow. Maybe we should do that.
But I think another thing is, I would say that's a main one for me. But when we're in the zone, like when you have meetings with clients, or you're being creative and we're discussing ideas, or anything like that, where it causes me to try to be creative, which is harder for me than I think I find myself, oh wow, it's already been 3 hours. We maybe skipped lunch or whatever. And I didn't even notice because I was so into the moment.
Yeah.
Whereas where you can be in other situations that maybe worth lots of money to be in those situations where you're only thinking about like, can we go eat lunch now? Because I'm bored out of my mind.
See, that's great. That's good too. And that's a
I mean,
huge
most
deciding
corporate
factor.
people that have a steady paycheck will sit in meetings.
Oh yeah.
And be like, God, can we wrap this up already?
Oh,
Because
man.
Qdoba is calling my name.
Dude, yeah, that was me.
Right, I mean-
my 8 to 5, it's like I was just looking forward to that lunch hour.
And I'm not saying quit your job because of that. Because
No,
I think
quit your job.
everybody-
Kyle's saying that.
everybody
Kyle
goes
told
through
you to
that.
quit your job.
The practicality thing. But that's a good indicator that that's not what you should be doing forever,
Right.
in
Yeah.
my opinion. And
No, that's good.
To clarify, my opinion.
Yeah. So let's wrap this up. Self-discipline, motivation, inspiration.
Yes. The
I mean,
surges.
All three of those things go hand in hand.
Right.
But I think there's not one you can just rely on. You
Nope,
can't.
you need them both.
You're right. You can't. I think it starts with the inspiration, of course, at least for me personally. It starts with inspiration, and then it kind of turns into discipline, because you want to keep going, keep pushing yourself. So, yeah, they go hand
I'm still
in
waiting
hand.
for that inspiration for the gym. It's been a little while since it's hit me. But yeah, I want to leave you guys with a little quote that I found while researching a little bit of this, because I'm always a sucker for Aristotle and all that kind of stuff. So it says, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit." So that's what I have to say.
Interesting. Well, cool. Well, let's wrap this up. You guys have been really great on Facebook and Instagram and letting us know what you think. Keep that up and let us know what works for you. I mean, I know we asked that question in mostly all of them. Like, what works for you? What are your goals? Blah, 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 blah. But really, tell us, like, do you really rely on discipline to get things done? Like for anything? Or do you rely on that surge of inspiration when you're sitting on the couch watching a TV show and all of a sudden it sparks and you're like, I gotta go do this?
Cleaning your house is another goal.
Oh, are you just saying like all the things that I
No,
don't do?
because we just did that Sunday. We came home from Girdwood.
Oh, yeah.
And I picked something up. Molly picked something up, and I was like, let's just do this. And then we just hit it for 2 hours and cleaned the whole house. And we're
man.
why did we? And I know it doesn't look like it, but there was a bunch of trash.
He got me looking around.
Yeah. And
no, it looks great. It looks a lot better than my place. That's for sure.
But anyways, it was one of those things where it hit us with an inspiration. We said, let's do it. We got it done.
Right.
Granted, we should have had the self-discipline to be doing this every week.
Yeah, now 6 months from now, you'll get that inspiration again.
I can't wait.
Well, cool. Self-discipline versus inspiration.
Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah.
And as always, find us on all the social medias. We're at Cut and Caliber and at Kyle Redding.
And at Stephen Cornfield.
And guess what? We'll see you next week.
Peace.